entrepreneur, she's got the scoop. Community and entertainment, she's in the loop. Every smile a burst of velvet light. Through the screen she shines so bright. With the laughs and tales that weave tonight.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you tuned into the Cami Grayson Show. And man, today we have a very special guest. I met him earlier this year.
Yes.
And so he is like phenomenal. He goes by the name of James Parker, and he's an author. Welcome, James.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Cami. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's hard getting you on, man. You're busy.
Hey, well, got to pay those bills.
So. I know, right? So as I said, James is the author. He's the author of Men's Guide to Spiritual Freedom. And this is like a book that I feel like is phenomenal because it's one of those things that, I feel like it's a must read for men.
I feel the same way. Cami, I wrote this book because as a man, and I can only speak from the male perspective, it's a lot of things that we deal with that we oftentimes don't verbalize. Yeah. To look at us, I'll just use me as an example. Now outside, sometimes you're thinking, well, he might be okay, he might have everything together, but sometimes that's true. But more times than not, I'm dealing with things.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do men deal with things in a positive way?
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So okay. So you know what? I think of what you're just saying, right? I'm receiving that. Then I think about my son. African American man, 29 years old, and he's just starting life, just getting, to where he's deciding, what he's really going to do and be, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's very. I was that age many, many years ago, but the experiences never left me. I mean, when you're that age or older, how do you navigate? Most of the times, I often kind of mentions in my book there that in my life, most time, women, ladies, have an outlet. They constantly seem to have somebody that they can speak with, confine with. As a matter of fact, it's almost, it's natural to them. Now, most men, take your son, for example, even though I never met the young man, but I know so much about him. Has been a man, African-American man, right? And some of the things, if he were just to open up to you, it would probably blow your mind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's some deep things, because most of the time, we as men, we'll connect on a minimum level, not, don't be too intrusive.
Right.
We'll get deep on like sports.
Yeah, that's universal, right?
Yeah, that's just a facade, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But that which really moves us, that which really concerns us, and from a male perspective, we all need good, positive male role models.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But so let's take it back. Okay. So when you wrote this book, what got you here? What made you start writing this book? So let's take it to when this finally came to you that this is something you need to write.
Okay. What got me here or there? Life, number one. As being a husband, a father, a brother, a leader, all those things, right? And as I was going through those things and trying to make my way through it, it was only through the grace of God that I kept it together.
Wow.
You know, once again, on the outside, you know, I may have looked like I was, you know, have a military background.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the military, it says some of your most, and we use this term, right? So hopefully, audience, you understand, your most squared away, the most sharp looking
Mm-hmm.
sailor, and then I'm sure soldier, airman,
Mm-hmm.
Marine. Those are the ones, if you follow them home, they're holding it together sometimes with paper clips and bubble gum.
Oh wow, wow. But you know that's true though. I mean, right? So
Yeah.
the discipline
Mhm.
that they offer, you know, when you go into these services and things like
Mhm.
that, you know, you're you know, at attention and
Yeah.
and yes sir and no sir type thing. So it's like, you know, you're that good old boy. You're that person that, you know, this is what you was trained to do, you know,
Yeah.
go by orders and things like that.
Mhm.
But then off the page, off the book, you know,
Mhm.
you're done, you served your time,
Mhm.
and now it's kind of getting you readjusted back to the civilian life, right?
Twofold. That's a two-part question. Yeah, when you're there, and I salute all my fellow service members. Love what you're doing. You know,
Yeah. Thank
I'm
you for
there
the
for you.
service.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Thank you for staying to watch. Yes, there's two parts to that image. Even when you're there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're that, you know, image of military perfection, for the lack of a better term. But even in that, like you said, when you go home or once you get out, and we haven't even reached the point of where I was out. I'm still active, and so how I got there was lifing in the military,
Mm-hmm.
learning my way,
Mm-hmm.
learning what I need to do. How did I get there? As a father, learning how to be a father,
Mhm.
learning how to be a husband, all of that. And so what happened was, if I was to kind of narrow it down, in the midst of all that, God keeping me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he was keeping me and teaching me lessons all at the same time. And at the point I wrote this book, it had dawned on me about it 7 years before I even started writing it, because first of all, James, write a book. You know, what do I have to say?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But God had laid on my heart, hey, you need to write this, because here's the thing that he was letting me know. If you're going through this, a whole lot of men are going through this.
Yes. Yes.
Just like you're not talking, you know, I was blessed with a lot of victories. I mean, I was good,
Mm-hmm.
but there was also some down times in my life. And so he led it to me to say, hey, let's start writing. And so here's a very interesting thing about the book, right? When I first attempted to sit down and write, I was like, okay, well, I'll see what I can do. So I wrote some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in my nightstand drawer. And probably about 2 years later, right? So I opened the nightstand drawer, and if you've been married for a while, and I've been married going on 33 years, me and my beautiful wife, Tierney Parker. Hey, baby.
Hi, beautiful wife.
Hey,
Shameless plug there.
Had to do that. So I opened up this nightstand, Cammy, and I pulled out this notepad, and I started reading it. I was like, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Then I asked my wife, I said, baby, when did you write this?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh
right.
my goodness.
Right? Yeah, right. So you've been married, right? She can write my signature better than me, so she can write it like me, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and she says, what are you talking about? Let me see. So she takes the paper, and she's like, I didn't write this. You wrote this. And I was like, I looked at it again. Like, yeah, I did write this, right?
Yeah.
So shortening up the story, I got here due to life.
Mm-hmm.
God had moved on me, and I'm not the person, you're reading my book, I'm not that type of person, right? That often says, you know, some people be like, you know what, I often use this analogy, I seen two leaves hit the ground at the same time today. That God must have been speaking with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me as a person, right?
Right.
So when God's speaking to me I got to know it's him. He speak to me in a way that James know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm trying to get your attention here, right? So that was his way of getting my attention to share my experiences, which I know are very common to other people, and they're just not unique to me.
Right.
I know it 100% certainty.
Right. But you know, the thing is, though, that's what people don't choose to write because they feel like everybody knows this. You know, everybody, like for a woman, or everybody goes through this every month.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody goes through, it's something that is so common that it's not common.
Exactly right. Hence the title of the book, Deliverance. Well, is the subtitle, Deliverance Through an Open and Honest Conversation. Right? So most men won't have that open and honest conversation. Now, don't ever believe the myth that men don't talk a lot, have a lot to say. Oh, yes, we do. We just have to have the right environment, a safe environment. And I often say in this book, right, when you have these type of conversation as men, the first thing you have to do is you have to pray, invite God into the conversation, right? Because when we invite him in, healing and deliverance begin, right? Because here's the thing, Cammy, a lot of times we are looking to hear that voice or get that confirmation somewhere or to hear it through a sermon, and nothing's wrong with that. But a lot of times what I found out is my deliverance sometimes is sitting right beside me.
That's powerful.
The answer to what I'm going through sometimes might be sitting right beside me. But if we don't talk as men, if I don't open up to my brother and say, listen, man, I dealt with that problem too. And this is how I overcame. Now, I'm not here to be a warden to talk to you like, hey,
right.
I'm not here to judge you, but I will tell you how God blessed me and allowed me and ushered me through many situations. You don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to go through that.
That's powerful.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
And so working with men, I've noticed that when they do have that relationship, it's good and it's healthy because again, men don't really talk. Allegedly, but I'm saying if they don't know you,
yes,
right,
yes.
So for instance, like we got people that's out of town, and when they come to town, had they not got a chance to meet you or talk to you, it's nothing said. It's just like work as usual, and there's no bonding at all. Other
than, what about that? Insert your teeth.
Yeah, and that's if they both follow the game,
and if they happen to like the same team.
Yeah,
you might get a fist bump.
Yeah. yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's just me observing as a woman, but I get criticized all the time. Oh, y'all just got when I'm talking to a girl, right. I'm bonded, because we have things in common and we support what we do as women,
That's
we
right.
might not even like them after they leave the interview. They might say, oh, she was horrible.
Yeah.
But she didn't say that in front of me. At that point, we bonded to what was said, the situation. So you men, this guide is to spiritual freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How it's like a woman don't really think about this stuff.
We do. Yeah, just like you, I'm very observant, I have 3 daughters. My wife, and I have 2 sisters. So over the years, I've just observed. It seemed to me, right? I can't prove this. I can't prove this, but it seemed like when they get together, when they're friends, right? Like you just said, you have that interview, and you talk, and you might share something. You might share some intimate details or something, right? Right? You just share it, and during that sharing time, there's a release. Stress. It's a you too, girl. You know how they do, right? I don't want to try to mimic nobody, but then you walk away like I knew it just wasn't me.
It's a good interview.
It was good. It was a good topic, right?
Yeah.
And Men, now there are some men out there who loves to talk, but that's the exception. That is definitely not the rule. In this book, here's for the exceptions, the people who don't talk, who don't know how to express themselves other than through other ways men have been taught by society how to express yourself.
Okay.
That's a deep one right there.
Yeah, it is. That's a deep one. That really is. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to know those little details because, you know, sometimes we see it, but we don't know what we're looking at, right?
That's true.
I'm going to say thanks for giving. How about this?
Well, thanks for giving, thanks for love, shining light from heaven above. We lift each voice, we rise and sing for the joy this season brings. The coming Grayson show, it's time to shine, hope and healing, stories divine. Tune in now, let your spirit glow. Thanks for giving, let the whole world know. On the coming Grayson show.
Bringing out my gifts, right?
All right. Welcome
Hey.
back. If you just tuned in, you haven't tuned in too late. I'm having a great time here with Mr. James Parker. He's an author of Men's Guide to Spiritual Freedom. And man, we've been chopping it up and just kind of having a good time and learning.
Awesome time.
This is the show that the females should really be looking at because this is a show that helps us understand what our men folks, I almost said,
There you go.
men people, what they're going through and what they don't share and what they choose to share and how. And then if they don't let that spiritual freedom in, it's going to always be inside them.
Mhm.
And our men, our men go through a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's not to say we soft now,
Yeah.
but
I know.
we really do go through some things that we need some assistance in navigating, right? And so when you get that assistance, it's been my experience now, you know, that I'm older. A lot of times, the older generation of men will try to tell you,
Mhm.
but you have to be in a space where you're able and ready to receive it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Many things I walk through in life, and many things as we as men walk through in life, and that older gentleman be like, hey, son, remember this. Or they give you that word of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, sometimes it comes from the heart, and sometimes it might come from the bottle.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, though, they're going
Right.
to try to spit a little knowledge at you.
Mhm.
But we have to be in a mindset to where we can receive it. And most of the times, for those that have a father in the household,
Mhm.
that should be the first point. But people who I focus on from my perspective, once again, I can speak from a man perspective from James.
Mhm.
Not having that father in the household, that led to me trying to find out what's required to be a man in those streets.
Right. Well, see, now a lot of people go through that, not having a father in the household, and I think that's where I see that book comes in in mind, because when I mentioned my son, same situation.
Mhm.
You know, and he's a quiet guy, and so this, I'm telling you, is bringing it out in me because I understand. I haven't actually read the book, but I do understand where the book is coming from.
Mhm.
Basically from your last interview, I was
Mhm.
able to kind of go through,
Yes.
your book and things like that. So, but it's amazing to me how not having a father in the house opposed to a young man having a father in the house. So it still could be the same way, because that father is not into being a father. There's no blueprint on being a father. So if that father is used to his father not being there or talking, he's going to be the same way, even though he's in that household. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so how does that affect those type of people?
With the father not being in the house?
The father being in the house but not in the house.
Well, like you indicated, if you have a father, um, from my experience, and that father is almost nonverbal,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't taught how to share their emotions, wasn't taught how to properly communicate,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's almost sometimes as worse as having a father,
Yeah.
because it's a double-edged sword there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, my father, not going into, it's in the book,
Right.
uh, not being there, I learned so much about my father. I learned so much about being a man. You know what that was?
What?
What I would not do when I became a
Mm.
father.
Yeah.
That was a valuable lesson that I learned by my father not being uh, in my life
Mm-hmm.
during that time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, I hold no ill will. He has since passed and went on with the Lord, and I got an opportunity to meet him at 33 years of age, maybe 34,
Wow.
right? And God, all this, all the positive things, all these things is God centered. I found God. So when He wasn't in my life, God has always been there to kind of guide me.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that I didn't get in a lot of trouble? No, but in His grace, He kept me. Right? Could have been a whole lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely be the person that you see before you now. So it's a double-edged sword. You can have a father that don't know how to express themselves, or you can have a father that's uh, three, that know how to express themselves, know how to
Mm-hmm.
communicate, know how to mentor and rear up a nice young man. You can have somebody that can be overbearing, and that can be just as
Yeah.
detrimental.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you agree with that one?
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then sometimes it feels like you, like you didn't get to meet with your father. Not that you didn't know him, but you didn't get to really know him, right?
Until
Until the
right.
end,
Yeah,
pretty much the end.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And so coping and trying to learn. So let me just say this come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
The idol that Bill Cosby was for us growing up.
Mm-hmm.
He was that dad.
Yeah.
He was the number one American dad
Mm-hmm.
that we were all who didn't have a father in the home looking at.
Mm-hmm.
He talked to his son.
Mm-hmm.
He spent time with his kids.
Yep.
He tried to understand his daughters, and he communicated with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
That is the stereotype father that we were all aspiring for.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you realize that's not your life, you can't do that. You don't have the hustable money,
Mm-hmm.
being a doctor and she's an attorney,
Mm-hmm.
So how do you cope with your family when you barely make ends meet? Does that make you feel bad, or how does that work out
From the father perspective.
from the father perspective?
From the father's perspective, once again, I think my God had built a resiliency in me.
Mm-hmm.
I've always He's always given me a good work ethic. I knew even as a young age that once I had a family that I would do whatever it took.
Mm-hmm.
And even during the lean times when God bless us, we've always had food and shelter, and
Mm-hmm.
We didn't struggle a whole lot because I'm gonna jump back into the military perspective.
Okay.
The military perspective for me, which was an option other than the street, because the military take care of those. I think it used to be referred to as the is it Maslow hierarchy of needs, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give you a place to stay, put a shelter,
Mm-hmm.
put
4 squares.
yeah, right, give you enough money to, and going to pay some bills, right?
Right.
So the military kind of, the Lord in the military kind of covered that. We wasn't living lavishly, but we wasn't on the street. When times were thin, I always had a personality. It wasn't all about me. Now, my family, which wasn't poor people, in the country, some of them was just poor. Now, audience, if you know, you know. So they didn't have a lot of money, but they had a lot of love.
Yes, yes.
I mean, they just loved each other. They loved each other, and so I understood the sacrifice. So it was never going to be me having things that my family didn't have. I, even to this day, it's not about me. I'm now, as I get older, and this may be getting off topic a little bit, learning how to focus on me a little bit, and not focus everything on the family.
Right.
But that's the way I was raised. Without my father being in my life, I wanted to be the best father and try to be the best husband. And although I don't hit a home run all the time, and I'm sure if my wife was here, she'd tell you. But, no,
she'll tell you when you get home. Okay,
yeah, she'll tell you, right?
She'll have to fill in the blanks for him.
But I've always knew I had to sacrifice so that they could be better.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that too, because women do that all the time. So now with COVID and everything that's going on, people now realize that self-care is important. And it's not just for women, it's self-care for us all, because again, you're working like I don't know what to keep food on the table. You don't want your kids to, me personally, I didn't want my children to feel like they were missing out on something because their dad wasn't there. And so that made me work doubly. I mean, I've always worked 2 or 3 jobs, and as we talked earlier, I got talent, so I will utilize those talents to the best of my ability to make sure that my family was taken care of. And so him being a young man, I couldn't be a father. You know what I mean? And so I did different things. I volunteered at the recreation center and put him in the sports, and I was there. I made me have an excuse to be at the recreation center. So I started a mentoring program for boys and girls. And so it was called the Gents. And I got the FedEx basketball guys to be involved with the Gents so they can help with those situations. A lot of people are not like me though.
Right.
So now you got young boys who don't have the father. And if they don't get this book, how are you getting the word out there to potential young men that could really use this?
Well, I have a really good core group of other men, spiritual brothers, who has embraced the book, embraced the role, who are really good role models.
Nice.
They have that certain thing that it takes to reach people, and so that's how I do it. It's about the book, but to be honest with you, it's about impacting lives. It's about men talking. It's about helping young men. It's about helping them to be better young men, to have a brighter future. That's what it's about. It's giving people the step, the opportunity, the rope, the path, the way in, not a way out, to let those things that which we as men and young men pack down so deep, and I want to take a moment to say thank you for what you did for your son. I know he appreciates that. Everybody don't have that, and I know he appreciates that. And I don't know the young man, but I'm sure that he tries to express that and say thank you and show you his gratitude in a way that he can. But I'm telling you, you did a good job, and I'm sure he really appreciates that. It takes a man to impart certain things to a man. I got that. But to show a man or young man the ropes about life, society, and certain things, there's nothing like a mother's love.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I mean, him being so small, potty training, oh my gosh, that was horrible. Because I'm one of those mothers like everything clean, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I used to scream at that poor boy when he was little, because he I couldn't teach him that part for the guys, and my brother came along, and he was able to be there to help me with that situation. But yeah, I remember those days.
Oh yeah.
I remember those days.
Yeah. All those things. It's all encompassing. It's those things. It's talking it out. It's you said your brother came and helped you out on that particular portion. It's sharing. It's sharing what we know to do, right? Because when it comes to the home unit, right, in order to get that spiritual freedom, right, especially when you graduate to the having kids or marriage stage,
Right.
you know, it's the two what shall become one, right? It takes both, right? Right. So I can imagine if I had both of my parents, but once again, it could be a double-edged sword. If one is teaching one way and one is teaching another way, and they're not on the same sheet of music, that can split you from your
you got gospel and you got rap mixed together. There's not clean rap.
yeah. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, so the very center of this whole book is it's God. It's and I'm not just saying it's not a cliche. This is a real life experience here. If God had not stepped in and helped me through all of these situations, so many stories, and this book is not per se a read. It's written like men read, not the scholarly guys, this is I got 5, 10, 15 minutes. I want to read something. It's a connecting, right? So what it does, it might have a topic and you read it, then it has some questions and answers. So good jump off point. It's a jump off point, right? And a group of men get together and be like, hey, for example, let's say I have one story in there, right, which kind of resonate with most men who didn't have their father in their lives, right? But who later on met their father, right? In my stories, when I met my father, that was something I wanted to know as a young man. Who was I as a man? Nobody knew that but God himself. I never talked to anybody about it. It was in my soul. I see other people and that father, and so they had an identity. They knew who they were. But James didn't know who he was as a man, right? And so God worked that thing out. If I had the time to tell you his story, he worked it out. I was sitting in church and it came across my mind. I'm going to show you something, right? That's in the book. And where does that come from?
Yeah.
Show you something. But he was answering something that was deep within me that nobody knew. Shorten this story up. The next day, after that church day, I get a phone call from a sister. Said, guess who I found? Our father. What?
Wow.
Next day.
That's deep.
Next day. Fast forward. He said, give him a call. But through my anger and my stubbornness, call you.
For what?
For what?
Yeah.
You ain't been around. But I eventually called. Hello. Heard my voice on the opposite end of the phone. Obviously, we sound just alike. God arranged a meeting. We met. I was able to ask those questions that I needed to ask. Wasn't a bad guy. He worked in the school system. Hard worker. Had a great work ethic. What happened between he and my mother is, that ain't my business, There's always 3 sides to the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
My side, your side, and somewhere lies what? The truth. And so when God worked that thing out, right, and allowed me to meet my father, he answered something in me that I so long for.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Guys, if y'all could resonate to some of his stories, please take the time to go purchase this book. Can you just tell people how they can purchase this book?
Well, once again, the title is Men's Guide to Spiritual Freedom. Subtitle is Deliverance Through Open and Honest Conversation. You can reach us on Amazon, right? There's other books that says Men's Guide, but it's Men's Guide to Spiritual Freedom. Deliverance through open and honest conversation. Right on Amazon.
I love it. Now, before we go, I thumbed through the book a few minutes ago, and I'm just it's like a workbook, guys. So it's like it has these different topics and scenarios. And again, like I said, the book is phenomenal. You know, just the little bit I've seen of the book, and I just think it's a lot because you got racism in here.
Oh yes.
And so, as a black young man,
Mhm.
you know, they go through this stuff, and not saying not so much as like the gang people, you know, that took the streets, but I'm talking about these young guys who's trying to do good, who's
Mhm.
trying to walk the right path,
Mhm.
and then they experience that.
Mhm.
You know, that's kind of hard too because you know you have nothing, you have no one,
Mhm.
and then you get mistreated or you know, hey, I'm smart and I got overlooked for this, you know, this job several times.
Mhm.
So give us a little scenario of what this book is talking about in order of racism and
About
prejudice.
racism. Well, in that particular story, I was outlining how that racism seemed to have always had a prominent position in some buildings that we call churches. I didn't say the church.
Mhm.
I said some buildings
Okay.
that we call church, because the church is in us,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of times when we face that as a man, or a young man, or whatever the case may be, um, it's kind of rough to navigate that, because what we have to do is we have to understand. You have to understand it's not the person;
Mm-hmm.
it's the spirit
Mm-hmm.
behind it. Because this is what the enemy wants you to do. When I say enemy, I mean the devil.
Mm-hmm.
He wants me. Let's say if you was and I had some things, racist things, right? He want me to hate you. He want to highlight something about you that make me hate you, and you vice versa me.
Mm.
And in that particular case, he has us both.
Right.
Because if we don't forgive, now I can forgive you and kind of keep my distance, right?
Mhm.
Right? But if I don't forgive you and I walk around holding that hate in my heart,
They got you.
oh, we got both of us.
Yeah.
He got both of us, and that's the thing, is the spirit behind that racism. So we have to be able to look beyond that system, right, and be able to see the individual, because that individual is you're both being manipulated by a system.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because I've had this conversation with another guy friend,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, you know, women, they just hate each other for no reason, and he's 100%. Just like you said, just because this person walked through the door with maybe a name brand bag on or
Mhm.
something, or got her appear to have her stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
Some women immediately just don't like that woman. That woman hadn't done anything to them,
Mm.
and I've seen that,
Mm.
and that goes back to what you just said.
Yeah, that's
You know, that's where does that come from? You know, and then are men like that mostly, or
no.
is it the other color? Nationalities, I should say, other races that see something like that and just immediately dislike a person, but for an African American woman to just not like a person because
Mhm.
for no reason,
Mm-hmm.
that's just it blows me away. It blows me away because I'm like, how can you not? You don't even know the person.
Right.
How can you not like that person? But if people don't like that,
And I find it strange. To answer your question, I really don't understand that from the women's perspective. I really can't answer that. But that whole dislike or whatever it is a spirit behind it. I will tell you that.
I can believe that.
There's a spirit behind it. In terms of other ethnicities automatically not, disliking each other, in some walks of society is probably like that, based off of, once again, what somebody has taught them.
Mhm.
They've learned from. It's just a learned thing. We all know,
Mhm.
right? And so once again, how you navigate it. Sometimes you got to sit down and talk about it, because once again, if I am dealing with it from a racism or from a male perspective and how I deal with it, society might tell me this is how you deal with it.
Mhm.
My upbringing might tell me
No.
this is how you deal
Right.
with it.
Right.
Right?
Total different
Yeah.
scenario.
Right?
Yeah.
But then again, what we're hoping is that sensible brother that's being led by the Spirit of God to say, hey, let me tell you how I deal with the same thing. But until I begin to stop looking at that person and start looking at the spirit behind that and how that divisiveness is designed to pull us all down, economically, socially, and my God, spiritually. When you begin to look at it from that perspective, I can better navigate. Does that mean I got to be right in that midst of toxic that toxic environment? No. I can see it. I can separate. I can like you from a distance. Yeah. So that's how that works for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Guys, again, we're going to kind of wrap it up, but I really want you to go get this book because I feel like it will help our African-American men a lot because of what's behind the book and the reason, the purpose, and how it was given. And it's still amazing that you thought your wife wrote it.
Yeah, ain't that something?
Yeah, that's something. That's
right,
amazing.
Hey.
And so yeah, guys, I'm really recommending Men's Guide to Spiritual Freedom. And you see how pretty the book is. You see the color of the book. And if you have any questions, hey, let us know. Let us know. Put your comments on the YouTube page. Share this YouTube. Share, like, subscribe. If you know any young man that might need some help, Yeah.
I would say this. It says Men's Guide. When you look at it, it says men is for men. But what I found out since writing this book, it's men meaning plural. Men and women have found benefit of reading this and to better understand their spouse. As you indicated, can also better help you understand the men in your life. And I'll be honest, I have to tell you, it's a great, if you want your men to be better, this is an awesome book to get that conversation started. Once again, hey, once they get that book, begin to read it, and they like two get together, they pray and invite God into that conversation.
Wow, amazing.
I'm telling you,
amazing.
Healing and deliverance will begin.
Wow, yeah. So, okay, guys, we're going to call it an end, but first, tell people how to get in contact with you.
You can get in contact with me at my email address. It's PARK 933 at yahoo.com. If you like to just reach out, have some conversations, have me to speak, do speaking events, I'll be very honored to come out at your men's meeting and open up the book and facilitate the first topic. I would love to do it. Reach out to me. Once again, you can get the book on Amazon. Once again, it's called Men's Guide to Spiritual Freedom, Deliverance Through Open and Honest Conversation.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, guys, until then, next week, right here, SKST Radio. It's a wrap. James, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And boy, let me tell you, this is not the end, because we got a whole bunch of chapters in that book.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, guys, until then, next time, bye for now.